Well, welcome everybody to KJMO, Johnny Mo Dark Knight Radio. So I heard something on the Glenn Kirshner show, and he's used to be a federal prosecutor, or a prosecutor in Washington, D.C., not federal, and he worked with the federal prosecutors in Maryland, Virginia, and other states when people would do crimes in Washington, and go out of state with them. And the most obvious out-of-state crimes were the ones that states that Washington is bordered by, which is crossing the state line to Maryland, or the river, the Potomac River, to Virginia. So, well, I knew this before because we talked about it when we were doing it, but I got into junk heroin around in 1970. Well, 72 originally, but I didn't do anything then. And then I bought it in Atlanta on the Strip, and then I bought it at a party in Atlanta in June of 72, and then I sold it later on when I went home to Virginia as a dime bag. And then I got involved with some people, and crazy people near the school I was going to, a real rough gang of people, and we got into kind of trying to deal with the little petty dope dealing stuff, heroin, and I got into that at the end of that year, but it disappeared. I think my mother took it from me. She didn't tell me, but she took some stuff out of a drawer. So then it went into the spring of 73, and we got some opium, and somebody shot me full of opium, and that was the first time I ever used a needle, in the spring of 73 when I was 17, almost 17 and a half. But anyway, so a few weeks later, I wound up doing dope, and it's another story, a crazy situation with the first time I really did heroin. But at any rate, usually the dope that we got, there were people, of course, selling stuff in Virginia, but generally the really good street dope, the white dope, was sold down in Washington, D.C. So that meant that we would go get it and then come back home to get high. And I'm not talking about buying much. It's like everybody maybe puts in $25, get like 4 quarters or something, which might be good to get high a couple times. But anyway, and then there was the petty dealing that went around it. But the bottom line reality is that the suburban junkie kids went to town, to Washington, to get their stuff, and then they had to go back home. Now Glenn Kirshner is talking about, about Trump and his charges and things like that. So, and he said that when he dealt with other states' attorneys, federal attorneys, when it became, what the point is that it became, instead of the crime being buying heroin or possession of heroin in Washington, once you crossed the river with it, and nobody was going to chase you, but I mean, it was, unless you were, I guess they were after something big, but technically it became a federal crime. So I was thinking to myself, God, since I was a child, like 17, below the age of adult, I was committing federal crimes. It's like, whoa, and it made me realize, so many other people like me were in the same situation. And I was lucky that my life didn't get ruined by that. I mean, it got ruined enough by getting involved in it and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, it's just kind of an irony. I just wanted to share it with you, that the way things are set up sometimes, the people that are in the most trouble always have to deal with the hardest restraints, always have to deal with the hardest ways of survival. The richer caste among us, or whatever, the however you say it, just that it's a tough world out there, and y'all be careful. So, and if you're ever into dope and you're young and you happen to listen to this, get the hell out of it. Run. Okay, y'all take care. This is KJMO, Johnny Mo Dark Knight Radio, signing off. So long now.